Look around your room. That slightly wobbly bookshelf in the corner. The coffee table with the one screw that didn't quite fit, leaving a microscopic gap in the particle board. To anyone else, it's cheap, mass-produced cardboard and wood veneer. It's a $10 item bound for a garage sale. But to you? To you, it's a masterpiece. You look at it, and you don't just see furniture. You see the 2 hours you spent sweating on your living room floor. You see the confusing, wordless instruction manual. You feel the blister forming on your thumb from turning an Allen wrench 50 times. And because of that sweat, because of that minor frustration, your brain does something completely irrational. It multiplies the object's value. Welcome to the IKEA effect. The term was officially coined in 2011 by behavioral economists, but the psychological glitch it describes is as old as human nature. It is a cognitive bias that forces us to place a disproportionately high value on products we helped create. Think about the history of convenience. In the 1940s, food companies figured out how to make instant cake mix. All you had to do was pour the powder into a bowl, add water, stir, and bake. It was a technological miracle. It saved hours of labor. But when it hit the shelves, it failed miserably. Women wouldn't buy it. Why? Because it was too easy. The consumers felt disconnected from the process. Serving a cake that required zero effort felt like cheating. It lacked the pride of authorship. So, the companies changed the formula. They made it slightly harder. They took out the powdered eggs and milk, forcing the baker to crack fresh eggs and measure out the liquid themselves. Suddenly, sales skyrocketed. By adding a small barrier, by forcing the user to invest just a little bit of physical labor, the final product instantly tasted better, looked grander, and felt deeply personal. In the real world, this bias doesn't just live in our living rooms or our kitchens. It operates quietly in the shadows of our professional lives, our businesses, and our relationships, and its consequences can be devastating. When a CEO spends 6 months drafting a corporate strategy, they become utterly blinded by the IKEA effect. Because they sweated over it, because they stayed up until 3 a.m. typing the slides, the strategy must be brilliant. Even when the market changes, even when the data explicitly proves the plan is failing, they will ride it straight into the ground. They aren't defending the strategy, they are defending their labor. It's the coder who refuses to delete a broken, inefficient piece of software because it took them 3 weeks to write. It's the entrepreneur who keeps pouring money into a failing business model because giving up feels like discarding a piece of themselves. We don't just love our ideas because they are good. We love them because they are ours. We confuse the effort of creation with the value of the outcome. But there is a catch to this psychological anomaly, a crucial nuance that most people miss. The IKEA effect only triggers if you actually finish the job. If you spend 3 hours trying to build that cabinet, get frustrated, and leave a pile of loose screws and wooden panels scattered across the floor, the magic evaporates. In fact, the opposite happens. You will look at those pieces and despise them. The human brain doesn't just reward labor, it rewards completion. The psychological high comes from looking at chaos, applying your own energy, and bringing order to the madness. When you cross the finish line, your brain stamps that object with a premium value, completely independent of its actual worth on the open market. So, how do we navigate this glitch? The goal isn't to stop building, and it certainly isn't to stop caring. The joy of creation is one of the highest human experiences. The trick is learning to separate the builder from the architect. Build with passion. Pour your sweat, your hours, and your energy into the things you make. Take pride in the blisters and the late nights. But when it comes time to evaluate the final product, whether it's a piece of furniture, a business strategy, or a creative project, step back. Look past the labor. Look at the raw data. Ask yourself, if someone else handed this to me exactly as it is right now, what would it truly be worth? Cherish the process, but remain ruthless with the results. Find your frequency and stay in flow. Click that subscribe button.